All right, we're recording now. I'm going to put out onto YouTube Live.
Okay.
Right now, it's just us.
There are some participants.
Oh, I see. I see.
So we're recording and we're streaming live. Are we ready to start, Bill?
We are go.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the June 24th, 2020 Northampton Township Board of Supervisors meeting. Call the meeting to order. I will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. The flags are behind me. Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to
and
the
the
republic
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
one nation, under
under
God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and
liberty and
justice.
justice for all.
Have a brief moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. I'll start out by just kind of welcoming everyone to the virtual meeting and reminding everyone how we'll do public comment this evening. If you'd like to make a public comment, there'll be two opportunities to do that. One for public comment for agenda items only, which I will mention as we get to that. Actually, there'll be one ordinance, consideration of an ordinance tonight, so there'll be a public hearing. There'll be a public comment limited to that public hearing, and then there will be public comment in the end, which is open comment. If you'd like to make a comment, please email publiccomment@nhtwp.org. If you're going to comment on an agenda item, please put the title of that agenda item in the subject and make sure in the body of your email is your name and address for the record. If you'd like to make a public comment at the end, please use the same address, publiccomment@nhtwp.org. You don't have to put in subject in the subject line, but please put your name and address for the record. If you prefer to not make a public comment via audio, but you would like me to just read your comment, just say that in the email, and I'm happy to do that. Please limit it to 300 words, and I'll read your comment into the record. I do have one adjustment to the agenda tonight. We're going to add item G, and that will be to consider fuel bids for the next year. So we'll discuss that when we get to item G. We don't have any flag presentations tonight, so we're going to start with two special presentations. The first, I'd like to recognize Dr. Kim Rose for Parks and Recreation Week proclamation.
Yes. Thank you, Adam. You know, I've always had a love and appreciation for our Park and Recreation Department, but I have to say that I have seen them work incredibly hard when everything in our world has turned upside down since this pandemic hit. On March 20th, we had 525 kids signed up for camp. Within the last 3 months, Park and Rec has changed their entire curriculum so that we could accommodate 100 full day and 40 half day campers. These changes didn't just happen. There have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phone calls, emails, check refunds, credit card refunds, explanation, and all this to make sure our kids are safe and happy. Our board cannot be more grateful to Nancy Opalka and her wonderful, hardworking staff. With that, I'd like to read the proclamation.
Great.
Whereas Park and Rec programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Northampton Township, Bucks County. Whereas our Park and Rec programs are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. Parks and Rec programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide the therapeutic recreation services for who are mentally or physically disabled, and also improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. Park and Rec programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. Park and Rec areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. Park and recreation areas ensure the beauty of our community, provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and outdoors. Park and Rec recognizes the benefits derived from Park and Rec resources and the values of essential services that park and recreation professionals and volunteers perform to provide recreational and developmental enrichment for our children, youth, adults, and seniors, and to ensure our parks and rec facilities are clean, safe, and ready to use. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Park and Recreation Month, and now therefore it be resolved by the Northampton Township Board of Supervisors that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in Northampton Township.
Outstanding. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Nancy and her staff. They've just done an incredible job. In my liaison report, I'll explain some of the changes that are going on, but they have just, it's an incredible amount of work, and I just think they're absolutely phenomenal.
I think we all agree. We are recognized over and over again for our Park and Rec program. So I agree with, thank you very much, Nancy and team. Next in special presentations, our engineer, Amanda, will give us an update on MS4 municipal storm sewer system work.
Thanks. Yeah, just a quick update on the MS4 program, which is the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. So that's all of the township-owned inlets, piping, basins throughout the township that the township's required to maintain. The township is required to also hold a permit for that system through DEP, which does need to be kept up with and stayed in compliance with each year. So the township did renew their permit. They got a new permit on May 15th, 2019, so last May, and it is a 5-year term for that permit cycle. Every municipality is required to hold this permit, and there are annual requirements that go along with the permit. Happy to report that the township is staying in compliance with all of the permit requirements, and we're doing everything to document all of the items that the township is keeping in compliance with, and we'll be submitting our report to DEP in September. Along with those requirements in this new permit cycle, the township's now required to construct a project in order to reduce pollutants in the stormwater runoff in the township. So it was submitted as part of the permit to retrofit some of the basins in the township to bring them more up to date on local codes and more recent codes. So we'll be working through some of those designs and hopefully be able to construct them in the near future. So if there's any questions, we can address them.
I don't think so. Thank you, Amanda, for that special presentation.
No problem.
Okay, I only see one request for public comment, and that public comment request has to do with the LERTA program, and we will have a public comment opportunity when we consider item D at that time. So we'll move on We'll move on to approval of minutes. Frank,
If there are no objections, I request that the minutes be approved by unanimous consent.
any questions? Okay, thank you. And Kim, accounts payable?
Yes, the bills list for June 10th, 2020, total all funds, $698,637.25. And now I'll go on to the next bill list for June 24th, 2020. Total all funds, $911,362.71.
Thank you. Any questions? Anybody? Okay, thanks, Kim. Next, we're going to move on to, we're going to open up a public hearing to consider an ordinance established by the LERTA program. Eileen?
She's muted.
Muted.
Yeah.
You're muted, Eileen.
Sorry. Last month, we adopted a resolution establishing the LERTA districts, which include the I-1 zoning district along Jacksonville Road, known as the Northampton Township Business and Technology Center, the C2 zoning district on Buck Road, known as the Village Shires Shopping Center, and the Village Overlay districts in Richboro and Holland. We also authorize to advertise the ordinance establishing the LERTA program. Today, we are holding a public hearing on that ordinance, which is required to outline the criteria for the program. After discussions with the county and school district, their respective governing bodies have agreed to participate in granting these tax exemptions and will be adopting resolutions as well. As we discussed last meeting, the LERTA program permits us to exempt increased real estate taxes for new construction and or improvements to non-residential properties in the designated areas. We would exempt 100% of any increase in the real estate taxes for 5 years. The application for the exemption must be made 60 days of filing the building permit, and the exemption becomes effective when an occupancy permit is issued. This tax exemption under the ordinance will not terminate upon the sale of the property. We believe that this program offers a potential viable and effective tool to increase job opportunities and in revitalizing the business tax base in Richboro, Holland, and the business park. May I make the motion?
Please.
I move to adopt ordinance number 607, establishing the criteria for a LERTA program in Northampton Township in accordance with the Local Economic Redevelopment Tax Assistance Act.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. We're going to move to discussion. We'll first start with public comment, and then we'll have board discussion. So Mr. Johnston does want to comment on this particular subject, and it looks like he is live. Can you hear us, Joe? And we just lost him. Oh, there he is again. Can you hear us, Joe?
Yes.
And you can turn your video on if you like.
I think the camera's locked off. I'm fine with
Okay.
it.
It's not required.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
my name is Joe Johnston, 41 Grant Drive in Holland. And what I'm hoping to hear tonight is from the board when they start the discussion is how they track the success of the program in the past. I would like to hear how much tax assistance or relief has been granted, to be quantified in dollars since inception, how many businesses participated in the program since inception, and how many of those participants were new to the township, and how many were just lateral moves. In other words, they ever had a business in the township and they just moved from one building to another, or they renovated an existing building. I mean, and then, what was the vacancy rate when we started this program, and what is it today? How many units? I mean, I'm hoping that this was all tracked. And if it's known, were there any jobs created by these recipients of the alerted program for Northampton residents? To me, that's the most important piece of this puzzle, is that it's a way of leveraging jobs for Northampton residents. We're given a tax assistance, and it's an opportunity for these new businesses to hire our residents. And I think that's an important part of this. If you're just to refresh people's memory, when it was first introduced, I asked for it to be mandatory, and of course, you know, that was met with resistance, and I understand why, because it was mandatory. So in 2017, I approached the library. They graciously agreed to put a help wanted section on their website. The township agreed to, you know, steer applicants in direction of hiring Northampton residents and have the free access to help wanted on the library. But unfortunately, today that help wanted section is no longer with the library on their website. So, you know, to me, that could be an indicator that maybe they're not hiring local residents. And I don't know that, I'm just saying. So, you know, if this gets approved tonight, what I would like to see, not for it to be mandatory, that doesn't work. And obviously voluntary probably isn't working that well, but to move to a reward system. And what I mean by that is we have to come up with some type of sliding scale as to how many employees a company has. But if they hire Northampton residents on a full-time basis, that they could extend their assistance program for a year or two. So instead of 5 years, it could be maybe 6 or 7 years. So now there's incentive for them to hire our residents, okay? And it's a way for the township to recoup their taxes faster. And I think it's a win-win for everybody. So I hope this board will consider that as an option to tack onto this. Again, it's voluntary. It's a reward to the people who participate in it. It gets jobs for our township residents. It could even be a Council Rock student who who gets a job in construction, or maybe a photographer opens up and, you know, a Council Rock student gets, you know, because I'm talking about students who attend Middle Bucks VOTEC, you know, where they're learning trades. It could be a chance for somebody to intern. You know, I think it's a good thing. I think the school district, if it's presented to them in that way, that they would go for it. The county, you know, I don't know about them. They would have to decide for themselves. So I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think it's, and I hope this board will consider it. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. You did ask, there was a lot of questions in there. I don't know that we'll have all that tonight.
But the main question was, how are you tracking the success of the program? If you're going to vote to approve it, you know, how are we measuring the success of the program in the past?
Sure.
If it's not successful, then it shouldn't move forward, especially at least in year 2020. Maybe it could be revisited in 21. But if the plan is questionable in its success, this isn't the year to give out tax breaks. We're going to be short on tax dollars this year. So that's what I hope you will consider.
Okay, no, thank you. What we'll do is we're going to have some board comment, and then I'll ask Mr. Pellegrino if he has anything to add after the board comments. So thanks very much, Joe. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
So we'll start out with board discussion. And Eileen, you made the motion. Did you have anything you wanted to add? You're on mute. There you are.
No, sir, I do not.
Kim?
I had read last month that we've had a lot of different businesses that have taken advantage of the learner program. I happen to know one of them. I don't have the list in front of me. I think Mr. Pellegrino does. But I know, like, one of them is 59 Alms House, and I've seen a lot of residents working at 59 Alms House. They were one of the recipients of the learner. But I know Mr. Pellegrino does have a lot of that information.
Thanks, Kim. Frank?
I have no comment.
Barry?
Yeah, no, thanks, Adam. I support the learner program. I think Joe had a noble comment saying that we should try to hire local people whenever possible. I think it's a kind of double-edged sword, though, because if we do that, other townships may do the same thing. And it becomes very difficult for contractors if they are constantly, restricted for certain townships because they don't have employees that are from that township. I think the most important thing with the LRTA is twofold in the sense that once it helps revitalize our downtown areas. Good example Kim mentioned was the 59 Alms House, where that helped incentivize that building to be renovated, create a lot of jobs, to create a nice place to eat, and brings more people to the community. There's also a number of recipients in the Business and Technology Center that received the LRTA that created more jobs. So it was the fellow who did all the shirts for people. And he doubled the space. I'm sorry, what was that?
Campus close.
Campus closed. I mean, they doubled the footprint of their business there, hired a lot more people, created jobs in Northampton. So I do think it's very beneficial. I think the LRTA program's been, successful, but I think that, we want it to be more successful. That's why we're extending it another 5 years, because we still have a lot of economic development that we need in the downtown Richboro, Holland, and also in the Business Technology Center. And I think one thing that the board is doing this time is that we're also targeting the Village Shires Center in Holland, because that's another area I think will be able to revitalize and create jobs for people working in the township. So I'm a very strong advocate of this program, and I hope this board will vote to pass it. That's all I have.
Thanks, Barry. My comments are just similar to the rest of the board. I do support the program. I think it does bring good things. I do like the fact that we can see Northampton residents getting jobs and put to work. I didn't realize 59 Alms House. I'm glad to hear that. That's great news. And I think there's others. I think it is worth extending. Anything we can do to keep the ball rolling and revitalize our area is well worth it. Bob, I'll just ask you if you want. I know you have some information that may be worth sharing before we vote.
Very good, Mr. Chairman. I can answer some of Mr. Johnson's questions. I do not have numbers on increased assessed value. We have to get those from the county, and I'm not sure they assign those until the end of the 5-year period, but we will check on that. I can tell you, first of all, let me just comment. We have a relatively small commercial tax base compared to a lot of other communities. About 5% of our tax base is commercial. So I think it's important for us to do whatever we can to support that tax base and support its growth. The LRTA program over the last 5 years helped 7 local businesses. Campus Close, 59 Alms House, the old Richboro Schoolhouse, Sonic Systems, which is in the industrial park, First National Bank, which is in Richboro, the Campbell Thomas Funeral Home, and Holland Eye Associates. I'm sure you recognize some of these names have been around in this community for a very long time. And sometimes it only takes a small amount of assistance to help to make or break an improvement to a company. And Campus Close, for example, they doubled the size of their business, which was a great addition. I know they hired a dozen more people, maybe more than that. 59 Alms House was another one. Restaurants are a difficult business. I think the LRTA program helped them to get started and to get on their feet. The old Richboro Schoolhouse was vacant. So there's 12 to 15 new employees that work in that building there. I don't know much about Sonic Systems. They're in the business park. The bank, I'm not sure about how many people they hired in Campbell Thomas or Holland Eye Associates, but these are all, other than the bank, relatively small local businesses. Even the bank is a local business. So I think it's important to know that the LRTA program is available, and it is, when I mention it to potential business owners who approach us about improving their properties, it really, they're very surprised that we have a program like this for our community, and they're very pleased about it. Mr. Johnson mentioned something about incentives to hire local businesses. That I do not believe is possible. We are constrained by the Local Economic Revitalization Tax Act itself to have a program that is that is developed within certain parameters and no others. So we, for example, can structure the percent of abatement or the term of abatement up to 10 years. We are doing a 5-year period, but I do not believe the law will allow us to establish tax abatements based on who we hire, who is hired. The other thing I would say is, I don't know that we can direct local businesses or ask local businesses to consider hiring, but based on the LRTA law, we can't require it. So I can get more information on the numbers if you want me to report that next time. I can try to get that stuff from the county, but I hope the board considers this. The county and the school district both support it. They supported it last time, and I think they see the benefit of it as well.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. I'm going to call. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. We're going to move on to new business. First thing we have is consider a bid award for the HVAC and electrical upgrades at the Township Library. Frank?
Excuse me. The Northampton Township Library received a grant from the Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund for improvements that included repairs to the atrium, electrical systems upgrade, HVAC equipment replacement, carpeting for the community room, story time, and children's area, and main entrance doors replacement. Total estimated project cost is $450,000. The grant would pay 50% of the improvement cost, or $225,000. Public bids were solicited via the Penn Bid website system and received on June 11th, 2020. The bids consisted of a base bid to replace the rooftop unit, RTU number 3, and its associated components, and 2 separate alternative bids for the additional 2 other RTUs. The mechanical and electrical bids ranged from $49,000 to $422,000. 10 bids were received on the Penn Bid website. Based on a review of the bid packages, the Township Administration and Gilmore Associates recommend awarding the project to Hirschberg Mechanical for $291,800 for the mechanical work associated with the project, and to MJF Electrical Contracting, Inc. for $49,000 for the electrical work. The overall project total will be $340,800, which is less than the budget amount for this portion of the project of $390,000. I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I move to award 2 contracts for the Northampton Township Library mechanical and electrical upgrades project. A mechanical contract to Hirschberg Mechanical for all items in the base bid number 1, alternate bid number 1, and alternate number 2 for a total contract amount of $291,800. And secondly, an electrical contract to MJF Electrical Contracting Incorporated for all items in base bid number 1, alternate bid number 1, and alternate bid number 2 for a total contract amount of $49,000. Together, the overall contract amount for Northampton Township Library Mechanical and Electric Upgrades Project will be $340,800.
Thank you. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Frank, anything further?
No, it was well described, and I think Amanda and Gilmore did a good job of pulling it all together.
Think so. Kim?
No, I think it's all good.
Eileen?
No comment. Thinks it's good bids.
Barry?
It's all good. Thank you.
No comment from me either. I think Gilmore did a great job. Thanks, Amanda. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we're going to consider a bid award for the New Road Trailhead Project. Barry?
Sure, thanks, Adam. So as the board may recall, back in 2018, the township received a grant from Greenways Trail and Recreation Program in an amount of $237,567 to construct a 8-foot wide asphalt trail connecting New Road to the Township Municipal Park. The project also includes constructing a parking lot for 12 vehicles on a 2-acre parcel that the township owns near the Marine Welsh Elementary School. Gilmore and Associates has received 8 bids submitted. The bids range in price from anywhere from $638,000 up to as high as $987,000. The total budget for this project was $280,000. So once again, we got a grant for $237,567. We had a budget of $280,000, and we're getting bids much, much higher than we anticipated. So based on the review of the bid packages, the Township Administration and Gilmore and Associates recommending that the Board of Supervisors reject all bids based on insufficient funding at this time, and consideration will be given to rebid the project at a later date. So if I could, I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I move to reject all bids received on June 12, 2020 to construct a New Road Trailhead facility that included an 8-foot wide asphalt trail connected New Road and the Township Municipal Building in a parking lot for 12 vehicles.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Barry, anything further?
No, I think that's it. It's pretty straightforward.
Frank?
I agree with what Barry just said.
Eileen?
I just want us to consider maybe going forward with just the trail and looking at the parking lot at a later date, because I know that there are many residents who live near there that would like very much to have a trail from New Road going into Municipal Park. So maybe because of what's going on and everything else, we just say, let's just do the trail, and at a later date, we put in the parking lot.
It's an option. Thanks, Eileen. Kim?
I agree with Eileen. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And I think, me too, I think we should reject the bid. We need to definitely drop back and look at other options. Maybe that is one option, certainly. And we just do a partial and see if there's anything else we can do. So I'll call. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next was the added agenda item G, the fuel bids. Eileen?
Sure. In purchasing gasoline, diesel, and heating oil, Northampton Township is a member of the Bucks County Consortium for joint bidding for these products. On behalf of the consortium, Upper Southampton Township advertised in the Bucks County Courier-Times on June 5th and June 12th to purchase unleaded regular gasoline, ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel, and heating oil. The contract period is for August 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2021. The price we pay for these projects is determined by the published price at the dock on date of order, plus a fixed per gallon delivery fee. There were 4 companies who submitted bids. Based on the bid results, Riggins Inc., Violin, New Jersey, Patco Inc., Aston, Pennsylvania, and Petroleum Traders Corporation had the best prices. May I make the motion, sir?
Please.
I move to award contracts for unleaded regular gasoline, 5,999 gallons or less, to Riggins Incorporated, Violin, New Jersey, and for the 6,000 gallons or greater to Petroleum Traders Corporation, Fort Wayne, Indiana. For on-road ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel to Petroleum Traders Corporation, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and number 2 heating oil to Patco Incorporated, Aston, Pennsylvania, for the contract period August 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2021 at the bid prices quoted to the Bucks County Consortium.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. I have discussion. Eileen, anything further?
No, I think that was very straightforward, and I, of course, will be voting for the motion.
Kim,
No, all good.
Frank,
Same, no problem.
Barry?
All good.
No problem here with me. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Right before we move to liaison reports, I just want to make mention again, if you want to have public comment at the end of the meeting, please send an email to publiccomment@nhtwb.org. That's nhtwp.org. And just put your name and address in the body of the email, and we'll recognize you when the time comes. I don't believe we have anybody on the list now, but this will be a good opportunity to do that. We'll start out with Kim.
Yes. Okay, first I have the Senior Center. The Senior Center staff is pleased to announce that they now have completed their initial round of wellness checking calls to every member of the center. Don't worry if you didn't get to speak with them the first time around. Follow-up calls are currently being made to those people that we were unable to reach. The staff promises that they will chat with everyone. Many groups of the center's members continue to meet virtually. The two book clubs will still stay strong with their monthly book discussions, while the coloring club continues to meet weekly, working on their projects and enjoying one another's company. The exercise classes are making sure they stay in shape. The senior size instructor, yours truly, has made available to the senior size exercise. The center's aerobics teacher has created several videos which can be accessed on YouTube starting on July 15th at 10:30. The intermediate yoga instructor will be doing Zoom classes. Every Friday morning, the golf league continues to meet in person. Even though social distancing is being enforced, they are still managing to have a great time out on the links. If any members need information on accessing the activities that are available virtually, please call the center and leave a message. If you're 55 or better and looking to become part of an action-packed senior center, you can start to get involved now by just calling 215-357-8199. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay awesome. Now for Parks and Rec. As we all know, the past few months have been trying times. Even with all the uncertainty, our Parks and Recreation team has been offering activities all along while planning for summer camp and the swim club. The Park and Rec staff and the public work crew have been working hard to get the swim club ready for the first day, which is July 6th. Please check the website for membership programs offered. Camp will take place this year and will begin July 6th as well. A modified full-day camp as well as half-day camp in the park has been planned. If you're still interested in the camp program, call Parks and Rec office as soon as possible. The health and safety program for both the pool and the camps have been accepted by the Bucks County Board of Health. The staff has also been working to offer a summer camp experience for children whose parents have elected to keep them home this summer. One of the hardest decisions some parents made was to keep their kids home instead of sending them to in-person camp. While Parks and Rec has not forgotten these families and has a solution that will fulfill a child's urge for a little bit of summer camp in 2020 with a Camp to You kit. The Northampton Park and Rec Camp to You kit will keep kids engaged. Fun can happen at home, whether in the backyard, kitchen, living room, basement, or garage. A variety of arts, crafts, STEM, nature, creative projects, games, recipes, and instructions complementing each weekly theme will be included in your kit. Activities will also include outdoor and rainy day options to keep your days busy and make you ready to explore new adventures. This kit also will include materials to complete crafts and projects combined with items that you can find right around your house. Detailed instructions will be included in the kit along with additional game coloring activity pages. and the web links to more at-home and backyard ideas. The Camp to You kits will be available for pickup at a designated day time at the Township Administration Building for a distance in-car safe kit pickup. To sign up, visit the website. Again, to find out more information about the swim club and how to get your Camp to You kit, visit Park and Rec website at northamptonrec.com. Don't forget to visit our virtual recreation center. Virtual classes and daily activities continue to take place, plus park challenges and events are posted there. There's 2 days left to visit the park with your 2020 graduate and take a graduation picture in the 2020 graduation photo frame. There's also a park poker challenge. 52 playing cards have been hidden throughout the Northampton Municipal Park. The challenge is to put together the best 5 poker hand you find. There are official rules posted on the website. Send your best 5 card poker hand to Park and Rec either through Facebook or email to Betty Satterley by this Friday at 5 p.m. The winner will receive a delicious large pizza from Gianni's Restaurant in Richborough. Don't forget, you can play amongst yourselves. What a great way to spend some time in the park. Keep an eye out for Park and Rec activities that will include Chalk the Walk, the Game of Clue, and more scavenger hunts. Speaking of parks, our parks, trails, playgrounds, tennis courts, basketball courts, hockey rink, and ball fields are all open, but with restrictions. For example, no more than 30 people, who include players and spectators, should gather at a basketball court or hockey rink. Baseball and softball fields are limited to 90 people. 90 might seem a lot, but this number includes players, coaches, umpires, and spectators. It's a fact that it is recommended for all sports that no matter more than 2 spectators per player on site. We also urge everyone to take precautions to help slow the spread of COVID-19. Let's continue to practice social distancing, wash your hands often, and wear a face covering. And lastly, if you feel sick, please stay home. Lastly, I would like to report that the Civic Center Improvement Project is nearing the end. I understand that the park driveways will be paved by our Public Works crew, and the lights for the baseball field and multipurpose are being installed and are scheduled to be completed by the end of July. Once those lights are complete, the base and light project will get started. I know that the Park and Rec Board and the Director of Park and Recreation have worked so long and so hard on this project. They will be elated when this is all over. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Kim. Next, Frank. You're on mute, Frank.
Bill, why don't you unmute him, Bill?
There you go.
I assume Bob will be talking about the township opening. So I just wanted to say that both the tax office and the municipal authority will follow the schedule of the township opening. As far as the library is concerned, there's a pretty good description of what's going on from the library director on the webpage. It's also on the Facebook page. If you don't have access to either of them, you can call the library at 215-357-3050 and find out what's going on. I'm not going to read the letter or repeat anything that she's already put out there. And you can make that call between 9 and 5. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank. Barry?
Yeah, I just have a couple quick things, Adam. So on May 28th, all the zoning hearing board now meetings are held via Zoom meetings. On May 28th, there was an important meeting where the site of the Murray Supermarket was approved for a giant. So at long last, we're going to have a new supermarket come to town, and it'll be a giant. They're basically expanding the space where Murray's was and taking 2 or 3 of the other stores there and making a much larger giant. The plan still needs to go to the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors, but it's going to be a meaningful change in town and adding another grocery store and getting that shopping center revitalized. Also in town, what's happening on 840 2nd Street Pike, there's an old site with an old house in front with a warehouse and an apartment in the back. That was before the township for a use variance, and there's a plan to revitalize that property and make some residential housing units there, plus make some office space. So that's been an eyesore for a number of years, and it's going to be a lot of improvements there. So that's gone before the zoning hearing board. It had some use variances approved, and it's looking forward to getting the, before the planning commission and board of supervisors. So that's a very positive thing. In addition, the zoning hearing board met to a number of residential requests, and that was very helpful in the sense a lot of things were caught, delayed, but now the zoning hearing board is at least meeting on a Zoom basis and meeting with people. The planning commission is still on a holding pattern right now. The June meeting has been canceled, but there's a number of projects that needs to talk about. One is a housing subdivision on Spring Avenue in Holland. There's also another subdivision on Spencer Road and a minor subdivision on Sackisford Road. Also, another major event would be for downtown Holland is the Wawa being proposed in Holland. So those we want to wait, hopefully, to a meeting that people can attend other than a Zoom meeting in the next few months here. So, but we'll keep everybody up to speed on that. The another thing on the Springville Country Club, construction of the models have started there. So we see some activity for the apartments, or I'm sorry, the condos being built on the side of the Springville Country Club, which I think is a very positive thing. Also, the Waverly subdivision in Holland on East Holland Road is now starting. So you'll be seeing a lot more residential properties being built there. And I believe that's 1 acre zoning, so it should be some nice houses coming to town. That's all I have, Adam.
Thanks, Barry. Eileen?
Yeah, I want to wish congratulations to all of our 2020 graduates, college graduates, high school, and also a thumbs up, good job to all of our students who made it through these unprecedented times by completing their classes virtually. Also, please stay safe during your July 4th celebrations, and please remember that fireworks in our residential areas can affect our family members negatively. And I'm talking about family members of dogs, animals, cats, and also people who may be veterans or just someone in your family who just can't handle those loud noises. So please be understanding. And that's it.
Thanks, Eileen. I just have a couple of points to bring out. First, as you know, during the, I think we're getting close to the green phase. During the yellow phase, the emergency services, your police, your fire, your ambulance, provided many celebration parades for our residents, whether they were birthdays or graduations, major milestones, to help people celebrate because they couldn't have the kind of party that they wanted to have. And we were able to do that. We were all very happy to do that. That's coming to a close now. I think we probably did over 200 events in those few months, but I think it brought a lot of happiness to a lot of folks. There's nothing more exciting than seeing a 7 or 8 year old kid have the fire trucks and police cars and ambulance come to celebrate his or her birthday. So we were happy to do that, all I know, and thanks to all the volunteers that did that. Second, as you may notice as you drive around town, there are some new digital signs that have been constructed in the last couple days. Each of the 3 fire stations now has a digital informational sign constructed. You'll see a lot of public safety information on those. Another one is going to be going up at the municipal park, I think by next week. And there is a plan to add a few more over the next year or two. What's nice about these signs are they are a real public safety advantage for us. We can very quickly put messages on these signs and notify the public of any number of events. For example, a silver alert, an amber alert, a major a storm issue, whatever the case may be, some flooding, road closures, blizzard warnings. In addition to your normal types of safety information that you might see for Fire Prevention Week or police activities or EMS Week, et cetera. So this is, I think, a real boost to the information system in the township. I think everybody will get used to seeing some real good, some notices and public safety announcements there. Finally, I just make a quick comment about the golf course. The golf course is certainly up and running. It's the golf side is an outdoor event. It's been running for a little while. It's been complying with all the orders for safety. It's been going quite well. The staff up there has done an excellent job of providing all the proper safety precautions to have a fun day out in golf. So that's still available. And happy to report that we're starting to see some activity as far as booking for banquet events in the future. So that's starting to come back as well. I know the staff there has a very aggressive action plan to put a safety program together to make sure when the time comes that is allowable, that these events can take place in a safe manner. So we're glad to see that coming back also. That's all I have. Again, if anybody wants to make a public comment, I don't believe we have any, but now would be the time to email that into publiccomment@nhtwp.org. Managers report, Bob?
I'll just give you a very quick update on our finances like I did last month. Frankly, not much has changed since then. Our earned income taxes are about $500,000 under where we were the year before. However, we hope that with the extension of the filing deadline to July 15, that by the end of July, beginning of August, we can make some of that, if not all that money, up. Our other major revenue sources, our real estate taxes, are right on target. We're not seeing a decrease in real estate tax collections. I can say the same thing for real estate transfer taxes. They're about $25,000 under what we received this time last year. But again, we've got a $1.2 million budget for that number. So I don't think it's a significant issue. And the other area we're seeing reductions, of course, is park and recreation, participant recreation. Since we can't run a lot of the programs and the camps have, as Dr. Rose mentioned, significantly reduced in number, we won't see revenue coming in like we have in the past. We also won't have as much on the expense side because we're not hiring as many people. So there is some offset. It's not an equal offset, but it certainly is an offset nevertheless. And as our chairman just mentioned at the country club, our golf is doing great. Our tee sheets are filled. People are enjoying themselves outside. We're starting to see some food and beverage business increases out of the grill room. We are still not running banquet events, but that will start on July 15 with a couple of weddings. And of course, we'll do that with all of the appropriate social distancing measures and guidance that we receive from the state and the Bucks County Health Department. Other than that, I have nothing else to report, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Bob. Solicitors report, Joe?
The only thing I have is the record should reflect that the supervisors met in an executive session this evening, immediately prior to this meeting. It lasted for approximately 30 minutes. Present virtually were the 5 members of the Board of Supervisors, the Township Manager, the Assistant Township Manager, the Township Engineer, and me. No official action was taken during the executive session, and none was required this evening as a result of that executive session. Other than that, happy 4th of July to everyone in the community, and of course to all of you.
Thank you, Joe. We do not have any public comment that I have. Let me just double check. I don't think I have anything more.
We didn't receive any other public comment.
Yep, just double check. So having no public comment. I think is our-
Mr. Chairman, may I add one other thing? Our new
Please.
digital signs will also tell you what time it is.
That is true. That is, and temperature if we
And
turn that on as
temperature.
well. Time and temperature, yes. Thank you. Okay, having no further business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.